Welcome to another Lightstream Creator Academy video. My name is Brandon, and in this video, we're talking about camera quality, and specifically how to improve it in Lightstream Studio, taking it from looking like this to this by following 3 steps. Let's get into this video. So to achieve a great look, we're actually going to talk about 3 different things that you can do to improve that. Number 1, we're talking about your camera and its position. Number 2, we're talking about lighting. And number 3, we're talking about other lighting like peripheral lighting in the background. Don't worry, we'll talk about what that means here in a moment. So for the first thing we're talking about is camera and placement. And yes, you're on a camera that I'm moving around because I'm going to show you how I have mine set up. So what you're looking at right here is actually my main monitor. And then to the right of that, behind the Elgato prompter, is my main camera, which is actually the Sony a6700. No, you do not need that camera because right above that is the webcam that I was using. And what you'll notice at is right about here is where my eye line is. And you can tell that that's slightly above, as well as the webcam being above. And that's a really good thing to do, is to aim for your camera to be just above your eye line and aiming down at you. So when it comes to camera placement, something that is low and aiming up is not something that's necessarily attractive. And you get a lot of this when it comes to webcam mics, like it's on a laptop. A good way to avoid this is to elevate it in a way so that it's a little closer to your eyesight. So as you move this up, you can see that you're seeing it more like what it would be like if you were having a conversation with someone. Very rarely are you having a conversation with someone from this angle, and this feels a lot more natural. Another quick tip is to actually have something angled in the background just when it comes to sight lines and some other things. As you can see behind me, there's the actual corner of my room, and my room actually angles in, drawing all of those lines to me, the subject in the picture. So doing that instead of having a straight on shot where everything is flat behind you can help to be able to draw the attention to you because of how our eyes work and want to follow those natural lines and land on a specific subject. So to break that down, my best recommendation for that is to actually have the camera at eye level or above and have it angled down looking at you. And just for reference, that's exactly what this webcam is doing. It is above and pointing down at me so that I can have this appearance that I'm having a conversation with you rather than not looking at you in an unnatural way. Number 2, we're talking about one of the most important things when it comes to video quality, and that is your lighting. To keep things simple, it's about how much light actually makes it to the sensor. And if there's a lot of light that's able to get here, or the appropriate amount of light, you don't have to boost things internally on the camera as much to be able to produce a good quality video signal. And if you have to increase things artificially on the camera, you start getting things like film grain and a whole bunch of other quality loss that you really don't want. Knowing that, how do we properly light ourselves? Well, what you can see is actually there's my camera once again, and there's the webcam, and what you see above it is actually my key light. And now sure, this is a really big soft box, but it doesn't change the fact that a really cheap or easy to obtain ring light or even an LED panel, something like a key light, could achieve the same effect this is. But what we want to do is wherever your camera is, we want to have it behind your camera and off to the right or to the left and up above the camera as much as we possibly can so that we can have that light aim down at us. And the reason we want to do that is it creates a really natural amount of fall off on our face to have something above us shooting down like this. So if you can adjust that light in that way, that's great. Now, an easy way to do this is to actually get a lamp and place it behind the camera. This is what I used to do when I first got started, and aim that lamp, or actually take the shade off so that that light was able to aim directly at me, almost like a sun or a light source. And now the impact of that key light on your actual visual should be pretty drastic. I'm going to turn off your key light. You're going to see how much that impacts the amount of light on my face. And yes, my room is this dark and that light is that bright, allowing me to actually add a lot of light onto my face and control that in my room. So by turning off all the lights in your room, including your overhead light, you're going to be able to control the light on yourself by actually putting another light and aiming it around at you. Now, for those of you a little more keen-eyed, might be able to see the light that's directly above me. This light is what's called a hair light or a kicker light. And all this does is add a little bit of light on my shoulder to be able to separate me from the background. This isn't something that I say is necessarily required, but a kicker light does add some separation from you in the background. And if you're able to put a light behind you out of frame that would add a little bit of light onto you, it does add a lot of quality to your video. And I'll show you that impact now. So what you're looking at is actually me without my main key light on, as well as my kicker or my hair light. And all I'm going to do is actually turn them on so that you can see. I'm going to start with the key light, and we're going to turn that on, and you're going to see what that does. Now I'm wearing a black shirt, and you can see behind me that my black shirt kind of falls off into the background. But that hair light or that kicker light adds a lot of opportunity to separate it. You're going to see when it turns on, now you're going to see that not only does it add a little bit of something on my bald head up here, but you're also going to see that it's going to add a little bit of light to my shoulders and help separate me from that background just ever so slightly. And this is what it looks like without the key light. And then once again, once I turn off that kicker light, there's the lights without the kicker. And now to recap on that, it's not that you need an expensive set of lights like a big softbox or even a kicker light behind you, but what you do need to do is make sure that you position your camera just above you, looking back at you, not too high, but something that makes it feel natural. And then secondly, go ahead and get a light somewhere behind the camera. Again, a ring light or even just a lamp works great. Use whatever you have that you can get that you can put directly behind your camera to add the light coming from this direction rather than from above you and down, because I think we both can agree that this doesn't look as good as what we were looking at before. So number 3 is actually your peripheral lighting, and this would be considered something like your accessory lighting, things that are used to bring attention or brighten up dark areas of your picture. And in this case, you'll see behind me there's a lot of dark area, and I turned off basically any of the color that I had, which was just the LEDs that were behind me. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn them back on. I'm going to go ahead and cycle through the presets that I've already preloaded, and if you're curious, these are just Govee LEDs. They're pretty cheap, and all I did was run them to the back of my bookcases as well as a lamp that's in the corner. What I'm going to do is actually hit blue. We'll turn everything on to blue, and you can see how it fills in all that color behind. And I specifically have placed these to brighten up the darker areas of my picture. And in some ways, you can be really creative with this and add a bunch of different colors to your room. For example, here's green, and then I'll also have one that will actually turn them all to white and bright so that I can actually have my room feel a lot more open and relaxed. And this is kind of how my room stays throughout the day. With all of that being said, let's wrap everything back up and talk about what you need to do. Number 1, we need to get your camera at eye level or just above and aiming down so it feels like you're having a natural conversation with anyone that you're talking to. Second, you need to make sure you get a light that's behind your camera that's called a key light, and either have it directly behind the camera or even off to the side, maybe 30 degrees or 45, up and above and shooting down at you to create a natural fall off of light on your face. You can even go an extra step and add a kicker light or a hair light to add a little bit of separation from you in the background. You can even add a fill light off on the other side of where your key light is to even fill in some of the shadows on your face if you'd like to do that. And last, peripheral lighting to be able to fill in any of the dark spaces inside your room so that it feels a lot more well lit all the way around and it feels a lot more attractive to your viewers. So before your next live stream with Lightstream Studio, consider using these 3 things to improve the video quality of your camera. Thank you so much for watching this video, and click on any of the videos on screen now to be able to learn more about Lightstream Studio. Thank you, and we'll see you over there.